watching Points of Interest.
Hi guys, welcome back to Points of Interest. I'm Ruby, your host, for those of you here for the first time, and we have a lot to talk about today, so we're going to get started right away. Yeah, we have so much. Roy is with us again. Roy Cronacher is one of our game designers, and he is working on the Revenant quite a lot. I'm Ruby, your host. So let's start. You've been working on, we revealed Final Legend last week, but we did. So we're going to get started right away. You're working on.
Nope.
You've been taking a lot of feedback like on our forums from the last BWE especially.
Yeah, just like in the Revenant test weekend we had before that. Listened to you guys' feedback, made a bunch of changes to try and push the Revenant into a better direction. We did something very similar with this beta weekend event. There's a lot of different feedback overall, and some points we were able to address, some we weren't, but it's definitely a work in progress. I'll be making a post after this stream, similar to how I did it last time, where basically I'll list out all the changes, some of the reasons behind them, and things like that. But let's mention a few of the bigger ones.
Yeah, please.
One of the big things you guys gave us a bunch of feedback on was some of the skills, specifically like unrelenting assault or face smash, things like that, the skills that actually put you into the mist. There's a lot of feedback where it locks you into place and it feels punishing, and a lot of times it just caused death for your character because you got stuck in a bad time, or like a boss hit you while you're in the middle of the animation.
This is not what our skills are
things
supposed
like
to do.
that.
Kill us.
So we went ahead and made those the Unrelenting Assault, Face Smash, and Surge of the Mist all evade while the skills are active. So they now evade to protect you from that damage. Things like Retail will still hit you and whatnot, but you'll be able to use them to dodge those big attacks. Another big thing overall, sword damage was a little bit low, so we went ahead and boosted it up, especially the number 3 skill, Unrelenting Assault. We wanted to make it more bursty and feel rewarding to hit that skill. Some of the other big things are we went ahead and redesigned a couple of the skills to better fit the kits. So you have Vengeful Hammers on Jalis, which felt more like a DPS skill upkeep rather than something that would fit the tanky theme of Jalis. And what we did was we changed it. It still has the base functionality of spawning the hammers around you, but we lower the damage a lot. And now when the hammers hit targets, they actually heal you. And while they're active, you take less damage from physical and condition attacks. So it's kind of this thing that you upkeep to take less damage and heal yourself and promote being like in the thick of battle. So it should help that feeling with the Jalis tanky playstyle. We also did things like drastically reduced the elite cast time, things like that. We did a lot of bug fixing.
You've got so many notes.
Yeah.
You've just been doing so much on these.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot, trying to get it like real close, a lot closer than it was, and just getting everything feeling good and a lot more viable. Like some bigger bugs that held back some of the legends, like outgoing healing modifiers, which there's a lot of traits like that in Salvation, just weren't working on Ventari. So we found the bug and got those fixed. So now you'll actually see the huge output for allies when you use those things, because it's like a 60 to like 80% difference for your healing your allies. Yeah, it'll make a big difference. Another skill we changed was we thought overall the staff kit was really good, but the 2 skill felt like really lackluster. So what we did was we moved weakness from the second attack to the first attack, and then if you land that while someone's using a skill, then you get access to the second attack, which is now an AoE daze that you can use like as an interrupt, or like shutting out people, or like helping to peel for your allies, things like that.
Nice. So you're
there's a lot more changes as well.
Yeah, that's just like part of them. That's what I love. It's not just bug fixes. Roy and his team are hitting the skills, weapons, the legends, and making sure that they're getting in a better and better state all the time. So thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for the feedback. It's all really helpful, engaging on the forums and things like that. It's something we'll be doing with each beta weekend. Basically, we'll take time to look over your guys' feedback, make adjustments to all the elite specs and the Revenant, and just tweak everything until we get closer to launch and try and get everything to an awesome state for it.
So you want more feedback?
Yeah, feedback's
it's kind of where
always
we're
good.
going here. More feedback when we do the next beta weekend event. It's
I welcome
coming.
all the feedback.
No, I'm not going to announce when it's coming, but it is coming.
Soon. TM.
Get out. All right, so we introduced something this week on the Revenant that was kind of a big deal. A lot of you guys were asking, okay, all of you were asking about the underwater skills. And we couldn't show them before. They weren't quite ready. The best we could do was stick the Revenant in a body of water and they would just stand there.
Yep.
But now we have underwater skills to show off.
That we do.
And they're ready to show. We've got two. We have Malix and Shiro, right?
And harpoon, or spear, yeah.
Yeah, spear. All right, let's take a look because you're trying something new with these two.
Yeah, so this weapon kit is a bit different. You'll see in the background some of the fights, me fighting underwater to show off some of the skills. So this weapon set's a little bit different where the first two skills on your bar are actually two different auto attacks. The first one is a ranged projectile attack. It applies more torment the farther out the target is from you. So something you'll want to use at range and more of a conditioned style play. The second attack is a physical flurry that's a little bit longer than normal melee range that applies full on the target. So it's kind of like good for a hybrid feel, or you can choose to stick with one or the other. It's good because you can stack up full to increase your conditions as well, your condition output damage, or if you just want to stick with one or the other. It also creates a cool like melee versus range feel and gives you something you can constantly do at range or at melee. And this...
It helps as you're coming in too.
Yeah, for sure. And this plays into the rest of the weapon set as well. They all kind of have this hybrid feel. So the third attack, the initial attack, sends out this orb, a poisonous orb that sends out from your character like towards a target. Basically, as it's moving, it'll attack other creatures along its path, sending out other projectiles from it, kind of like spraying out from this mist orb, poisoning targets. Then you get the option while it's out as a flip over skill to basically detonate this orb for a blast of damage as well, to be more of the physical portion of it. You can leave it out to do more condition, or you can choose to toggle it for a burst of damage, or both if you want as well. The fourth skill works similarly. Basically, you throw your spear and connect to them, and while you're connected to them, it pulses burning on the target, so the more condition-focused damage. But then you get the flip over, which allows you to teleport to that target and deal a big burst of damage in an AoE. So you can do cool things like send out the orb, and then right when it's getting close or kind of near it, you use the floor to connect to the target. Then you can burst the orb and teleport in there for like a big spike, followed up by like the number 2 melee auto attack. And then the number 5, which you just saw on screen a bit, is you basically create these 2 rifts above and below the target, and after a short delay it forms, creating this like prison or like mist prison around the target. And while they're inside, they can't leave that area, and it pulses damage on them as well. Yeah.
Awesome. So there's your first look at the underwater skills.
Yeah, and we converted Shiro and Malix, like you were saying, as well, to work underwater. So those legends will be available underwater in the next beta weekend. We're looking into converting some of the other ones as well.
I was about to ask. I was like, maybe he'll just say it and save me the time. All right, so there's your first look at the underwater skills. Next beta weekend event, you guys can give those a try and let Roy know what you think. You probably listen to them. And just
a little bit.
History states that you will listen and act on some of this stuff, depending on what people think. All right, so our huge news this week.
Yeah.
The Herald. We unveiled the Revenant's final spec this week, which is the elite spec, the Herald, based on Glint. You did your homework.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch the Wooden Potatoes video again.
Thank you again, Wooden Potatoes, for all of the lore stuff. So we're going to just talk a little bit about where all of this came from and just a few seconds of lore, because so much of it is involved in these skills, and you built that.
Yeah, I mean, like with a lot of the revenant stuff, it's really heavily tied to lore, since you do channel these legends of the past, and
they're not just random guys.
Yeah, we really thought Glint would be a good idea, even from the beginning of Revenant development, just because she has such a big impact in the story in Guild Wars 1 and leads into like Guild Wars 2 lore and stuff like that. And we wanted like a cool dragon stance, and Glint seemed to fit. We went with Herald because it's kind of like a harbinger of things, like foretelling the future. Like Glint went ahead and wrote the Flameseeker prophecies, foretelling some future events that were basically came to pass after she had, after she had told or wrote these down.
It was pretty much everything in Guild Wars prophecies, in the first Guild Wars.
Yeah.
Is everything that Glint foretold. Those were the Flameseeker prophecies.
Yeah, and with the Legend set as well, we wanted to bring in like another tie to Guild Wars 1, where we brought in like the facets that you experienced in the Dragon's Lair area, or mission, I believe, and tie those in, and that's why we decided to go with facets for all the skills, and it just so happened to be that there were 6 of them, and it perfectly aligned with all the skills that we needed for the bar.
That worked out well. Should we try to pretend that we played just a really, really long game and knew back at the beginning of Prophecies that the Revenant was coming in Guild Wars?
Happen.
We totally did that on purpose.
Even before I worked here.
Yes, before Roy even worked here, we were like, we saw this guy, Roy, and we think one day he's going to want to make this thing. All right, there comes a point where we're just completely full of it, and I think this is that point.
Probably.
So the Herald has the shield as their new weapon.
Yep.
That even worked out well, because the legendary shield in Guild Wars 2 is called the Flameseeker Prophecies.
Ties in really well.
Yeah.
And it fits the support playstyle that we wanted out of this set.
And you know, there's one other thing. You talked to one of our gaming sites this week, one of the gaming news sites that we worked with. Massively OP, if you don't know, they were Massively when they were owned by AOL. They're independent now. They helped us out this week with the reveal of the Herald. They run a Guild Wars 2 column every week, and way back when, before I was here, I was the Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2 lead writer there, and we wanted to start a Guild Wars 2 focused column. So I got that started, and I named it the Flameseeker Chronicles.
Nice.
And it still has, I'm so glad it still has that name, like five and a half years later. So all of this ties into how you made this spec. Let's just look at the shield skills first, since we were talking about the Flameseeker prophecies.
Okay.
The shield on there.
Yeah. So
Nice
you
choice.
can see. I thought those shields looked pretty cool, shield and sword. So both of these skills are more support focused and kind of heal focused. So you can think of, always gotta have the moose. So you can think of this first skill almost as a supportive version of like Phoenix from Elementalist. You basically send out this dragon energy from your shield to a target area. Allies that it passes through, it gives protection to them, and when it reaches its point, it bursts for a heal in an area, then comes back to you. And on the way back, it also gives protection. So you can give allies, like lining them up, give them protection on the way there and on the way back. You yourself only get protection when it comes back to you. But you can use it like right on top of yourself for like a more selfish like burst heal, or you can use it to support allies, and it has this cool play of like lining up allies to get the most out of the protection, and positioning matters, and you'll see some of that with the facets as well.
Yeah, it follows you, and if you move around the originator, it will follow the originator of the skill back.
Yeah, it will always come back to you basically. So it's a cool way to get some healing and protection for your allies to become a bit more tanky. In general, Revenant kind of lack protection, and you'll see it in a few areas on Glint to add to that more like tanky support. A lot of Glints and Heralds feel are support through boons and buffs. So we went with that theme a lot, which complements a lot of the other legends really well.
I really like the lining up the allies thing. Anything positional, I'm kind of in favor. I kind of lean toward right now because I'm very bad about that. Historically, as somebody who could just hang back and rain fire from the skies, I didn't have to do that too much.
It can definitely be challenging.
But it's helping me. It's helping me. It's something that I need to pay attention to.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
here's a lot of moose and crystal hibernation.
Yeah, so this next skill, you basically summon crystal energy around your character to protect yourself. This skill is pretty unique as it offers a Defiance bar, as seen on some creatures, for the player. You basically go into the state where you're immune to damage and immune to incoming conditions. Previous conditions on you still pulse for damage, so you're still susceptible to those things. But while you're in it, you basically regenerate health over time as well. But it comes at a cost due to the Defiance bar. So the Defiance bar protects you against control skills while it's active. But if it's depleted, you get stunned and 25 stacks of Vuln on yourself, both for 2 seconds right now. So it leaves you, if they break through it, this vulnerable state basically just sitting there. I mean, you can use things like stun breaks and things like that to break yourself out of it if you have them available, or like invocation trait to make legend swap, stun break, you can swap legends and stuff like that. But the idea is like high risk versus reward skill that allows you kind of like a skill you can push in those moments where you need to like block or stop like big attacks and recover health and just like reset yourself. You can also use it just to buy time till like your heal comes off cooldown, things like that.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I thought when I was looking at it. Was like, this is an oh crap button when
Yeah,
I need
basically.
to buy a few seconds. So, help me. All right, so let's look at the profession mechanic. Your F2 skill is one that I kind of had a lot of fun looking over.
Sure. So this is the first facet. It's facet of nature, and it really ties into all the other skills. So the way facets work are their first press is always an upkeep skill, so it costs energy regen to keep it active. Facet of nature costs 2 energy upkeep to basically keep it active, and while allies are around you, it basically pulses 50% outgoing boon duration to them. So since Glint is all about providing boons with facets, it really boosts up your other facets playing into those, as well as it works really well with other support characters you're playing with, or other people stacking might, like a Phalanx Warrior or something like that, or with an Ellie. And then the active skill, One with Nature, basically takes all the other boons from the other facets and gives them out in a burst around you to allies. For longer durations, of course, not the pulsing values, but it's a way to kind of like connect it back to the other facets. So it's kind of like, even if you don't decide not to run the Glint Legend, you still have these boons that you can give out to allies that come from the facets.
Nice. And I'm noticing the symbol on the ground now that you explained it to me.
Oh yeah.
And we will get to that because we need to go through the utility skills, and it will make a little more sense, and it will look cooler.
Yeah, for
once
sure.
we get there.
I'll explain that in a second. So the heal skill, Facet of Light, while it's active, you basically pulse AoE regen to allies around you. As a way to heal all of the facets on the right half of your bar, all apply boons, so they tie into the facet of nature, increasing boon duration. So you have pulsing regen around you to heal allies over time. Then the active skill that flips over is Infuse Light. You basically consume the facet of light and heal yourself for a bit. And it gives you this buff that inverts all the incoming damage to you into healing. Kind of like Defiant Stance for the warrior. So it's basically trading the AoE healing that you would be giving allies for some personal healing. And one thing you'll notice is a lot of these skills don't have a bit longer recharge than you normally see on Revenant, and that's because we wanted to create this interesting trade-off where you have these facets that you can keep up, kind of like auras that you have around you, but then you trade them off for these more bursty active effects, and you have to make the choice between which ones you use.
I want to mention, as you're doing this too, keep an eye, oh gosh, that was a terrible pun, and it was an accident, I'm so sorry. Watch the skill animations, this one in particular, you have Glint's eyes. over your head, and there's some of that in each one of these utility skills coming up.
Each one of them has different pieces of the dragon. We wanted to really have that dragon theme. This skill up there, Facet of Darkness, pulses fury to allies around you, which plays really well into the invocation trait line as well, where you get bonuses from fury. And then the active skill is consuming that facet, and you blind enemies in an area and reveal them as well. And this is your stun break. And this will actually pull enemies out of stealth around you in the radius. So if you have a bunch of people stealthed and they happen to be near you, or you can guess where they are, and you use this AoE, it will actually pull them out and blind them. So it's a like stealth counter, can be used for stun break, and has some blind.
Remember before the show we were talking about my main?
Yeah.
I'm mad at you about this. I'm really I'm already sitting here going, what am I going to do?
Yeah. It's definitely a bit of a counter to stealth classes. But there's increasingly more stealth in the game, so we wanted to add a few counters like this that are skillful, where you have to know where people are.
It was fine.
And a radius around you to pull them out.
I was happy with it.
And that used the dragon's eyes, so it plays into like him revealing the area around you. This next one is Facet of Elements. The passive effect around you is pulsing swiftness to you and your allies. So all you guys who are looking for swiftness on the Revenant, this is a great way for you and your allies to have move speed in and out of combat for moving around. And then the active of Facet of Elements uses the Dragon's Breath for Elemental Blast. And as you can see, it basically calls down the breath at ground target area, and it does damage with each tick and applies a different condition as well. The first pulse is weakness, the second one is chill, then the third one is burning. So it's a way to add like damage, some soft control to an area. Just if you are, it helps a lot too for like those Condi builds, adding some more spike, things like that. It's pretty like decent damage as well.
Magical Dragon Breath sounds so cool. It sounds like it would be a good thing. It is not a good thing for your enemies.
Yeah,
I do love it.
Pretty interesting. These skills can be used in a lot of different ways. So a lot of them are more like pulsing support things for the facets, than the actives are more offensive focused. The next facet is Facet of Strength. This pulses might to you and your allies while it's active. So allies around you basically get stacking up might. Then the active, which uses the Dragon's Claws for its effect, are Burst of Strength. You basically do 2 swipes, like imagine a dragon swiping at the target in front of you, and it's kind of like a skill shot. It's always in front of your character. And you swipe twice, and it has some pretty good damage on it, but each strike also applies 10 stacks of vuln, so it's this quick burst skill that you can use to quickly weaken targets right in front of your character, and then use other skills to burst them down or coordinate it with allies, things like that. This would be a good time, I think, to talk about a little bit the effects. Like, our effects artists have done a great job on this, and
oh my gosh, yeah.
As Ruby was saying, you can see the decal under the character. The way we're basically representing what facets the Revenant has active is through this decal under the character. While they're active, you get that pulsing circle to show that you have some active, and then you have a specific symbol for each facet around that circle, basically to represent how many you have active and which ones, so you can see as a player or as an enemy, seeing the Revenant and see which positions around the circle they are, or if you can see the graphics, because they are different effects for each one. Like one of them might be like a claw, or one might be a heart, things like that. It's a cool way to visualize and show these pulsing facets around you without having to do these crazy effects like constantly in a big radius.
You
so
can't
it
get them
reduces
all
noise
up at once.
as well.
I tried. You sat there and laughed at me for like 5 minutes while I was hitting them as fast as I
it's
could.
close.
Wait, I want them all.
You only can have up to -10 degen basically, so having them all up costs more than that, so you can't, but you can have up probably like 4 to 5 and drain most of your energy really fast, or you can keep up 1 or like 2 to 3, depending on which ones, for more extended durations. So this last
Look at the elite
facet,
real quick. Yeah.
Facet of Chaos, you basically pulse protection to allies around you. as you're doing that, like it applies protection, so you really help bolster up you and your allies' tanking, but has a lot higher upkeep cost than the other facets as well, since protection's a lot stronger of an effect.
You're going to be so popular with all of these. Everybody's going to want to be around you for all the boons.
The active skill, as you could see, Chaotic Release is the skill you actually saw in the original HUD trailer, where you see the dragon wings come down and gust the area. It blows out enemies in the area, does really good damage, and gives allies super speed that are in the area as well.
So those of you that played the beta weekend event was it only this past weekend?
Yep.
This has been a long week. It feels like forever
been.
ago. So if you played the beta weekend event and you played through the story part, I'm worried about spoiling. There was a cinematic. I don't want to spoil people who didn't play the beta weekend event, but you saw this skill during a cutscene in the game, and now you know what you were looking at.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil
It's a cool
too
tie-in.
much.
Yeah, kind of like Shiro, how you guys saw Unrelenting Assault. You guys actually saw different pieces of this, like early on, without even realizing.
Yeah. All right, so how about the traits that go with this? By the way, I feel like we went through every video, we added one more moose.
Yeah.
And by the end, there were like 9 of them.
Well, I mean, you have a huge dragon. You gotta knock around some moose.
I wonder if anybody's ever said that before. I bet not.
Probably not.
All right, so traits.
Yeah, sure. So here in game, we'll go over the herald traits for the line. So the first trait basically gives you access to equipping a shield, your dragon stance skills like equipping glint, and gives you access to your F2, passive nature, and the flip over one with nature. Then we move into adepts. This first one, Swift Gale, when you successfully break a stun, you gain super speed. So it's a way, like, when you break out of a stun, you can use it to reposition, get into a fight, or maybe kite away from foes, things like that. Can be used in a bunch of different ways. Since positioning will matter with glint a lot and being around allies, things like that, or positioning your skill shots like the elite or burst of strength. So this next one is pretty interesting. It places infused light on an ally when you revive them. So the heal skill buff that you get that inverts incoming damage, it places this on an ally when you revive them. So actually, when you start reviving them, any damage they take will actually help revive them as well while this is active.
Somebody's hitting you and you're just going, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So it changes like playstyle and something you have to look out for, because usually, say in PvP, when you're like cleaving a down body and you go to revive them, if you do too much cleaving while it's up, you'll actually just revive the target for them. So you have to look out, and it promotes more stomping and just changing up playstyle.
Nice.
This next one, Hardening Persistence, basically a theme for Glint, and this is all about upkeep skills, and this one plays into that. You basically gain a buff that gives 40 toughness for every point of energy that you're upkeeping. So you can have up to 10 energy upkeeped, which would give you 400 toughness, but you'll drain your energy really fast, then lose these buffs. It works for any upkeep skills, so like Impossible Odds for Shiro, or Embrace the Darkness for Malix, things like that. A way to make you like more tanky while you're expending your energy to use for these upkeep skills. This next one, Vigorous Persistence. You gain increased endurance while you have an active upkeep skill. So while you have any skill currently being upkeeped, you gain 25% endurance regen increase to give you more ways to avoid attacks, be a bit more tanky, things like that. Only works in combat. So moving on to Master Tier. Bolster Fortifications. Grant protection to nearby allies when you use a heal skill. Heal skill is definitely an interesting trigger for Revenant, since you have 2 legends equipped and you can have 2 different heal skills at the same time. So this plays really well into that, where you can use like 2 heal skills back to back for some burst protection to your allies, or space them out over time and use it more for those key moments in battle that you need the reduced damage. And it works really well too, just stacking up in case you're playing with Glint and have the elite active, you can stack it up and have protection roll over basically when you're in the other legends, or if you don't even want to use Glint, it gives you access to have some of that supporty protection as well. This next one, since you're pulsing out boons to allies, shared empowerment basically makes it so when you apply a boon to an ally, you also apply might to nearby allies. So it's another way to help stack up might for this legend. Works really well with passive strength, basically just to pulse out more might to allies and get stacking. So you ramp up your offenses over time while you're in combat, like fighting a battle at the cost of upkeep and whatnot. This next one plays into a little bit, kind of like this other stun break, one Swift Gale. This one, harmonized continuity. When you successfully stun break, you also stun break nearby allies. So it's a way to be kind of like supporty with your stun breaks. So if a warrior uses Earthshaker on you and your like party, like right around you, you can use a stun break and it'll actually break them all out for you without them having to waste theirs as well, which is a cool thing of support. You've seen some of that like on the Tempest as well. It's something we're trying out new. So this last minor trait, Envoy of Sustenance, since this is all about boons, this minor trait increases boon duration. So it helps you stack up like the might, protection, all those things, and plays into the F2 as well, just to give you more boon duration, since you're kind of a master of boons with these auras. So Grandmaster traits. Elder's Force. This one's more of a DPS focused trait for another damage multiplier, since Revenant was lacking a little bit of them. Basically, increased damage per boon on you. So for every boon on you, you get 2% damage increase. So when you're stacking up all these boons, or if you have like a Shout Guardian with you giving you boons, basically makes you stronger, increases damage. Like I personally really like using Devastation, Invocation, and Herald as well for a DPS build. It turns out really good because you're applying these boons to allies and you have a bunch of damage.
I'm like making mental notes going, okay.
Yeah. This next one actually plays into the shield skill. Basically, you activate Crystal Hibernation, the shield 5, upon being struck below the health threshold. So it's kind of like a save yourself trait. You still have the break bar and all that stuff. Exact same skill, triggers right now at 25% health. Basically a way to kind of like prevent yourself from dying if you're being spiked, or save yourself, or if you don't want to use shield, but it does also provide a bonus for shield, because this is the shield trait as a Grandmaster. Using a shield skill will basically increase boon duration of allies around you, kind of like the Tempest Warhorn skill. So when you use one of the shield skills, it basically increases all current boons on you and your allies in the radius by 2 seconds. So it's kind of like you stack up all these boons on you, then you can use the shield skills to bolster these up for increased duration. And then this last one is kind of like the opposite of what you saw in Shiro, where you rip off multiple stacks of stability. Enhanced Bulwark is when stability is applied to you, you gain an extra stack with a 1 second internal cooldown. So anytime it's applied to you, you get an extra stack. Works really well with like the dodge trait and retribution, things like that. So we wanted to add a lot more like tankiness and support with this trait line. A lot of it through boons, things like that.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot to take in, but you've got, it feels like a nice variety. You can kind of go in a few different directions as far as play style.
Yeah, like it's made to work really well with other legends. Like you could run like Ventari and Glint to be in more like a pure support like role for like healing and providing buffs to your allies. Or like one that I really like is Shiro and Glint. Work really well together because you can do things like Burst of Strength to apply a bunch of Vuln, then use Unrelenting Assault to spike them, things like that. And it gives added survivability that you normally wouldn't have, and creates interesting roles. But then you also have condition aspects to it, so it can work with Alex as well. Like it works really well. Basically made to fit, have a little bit of like everything, and it works. Basically fits in with any of the other legends pretty well. It's a good secondary option when you're trying to make a build.
All right, well, why don't we put it all together and see what some of the fights look like?
Sure.
So.
Yeah, so here you can see I'm using Sword Shield. It's a really fun combination that I like. I use Shield 5 to immune an attack. That's a really good use for it, basically to prevent damage, being more preventative about it. Use Hammer as well, just because I'm more power focused, and you can see me quickly take out the NPC there, and I use the heal to basically prevent any damage on me while I'm going for the stomp, because it inverts the incoming damage.
Good job on the finisher.
Thanks. Gotta have the unicorn.
Yeah.
Always a trolliest finisher. That or the llama.
The llama. Yeah,
like
they're
the
both
llama.
super trolly.
Here I'm just fighting some more NPCs in the mist, showing off some of the skills. You can see me rotating, keeping some facets upkeep for some boons, using the active skills more for control. Like I just used Elite there to knock back and gain some more distance while I had Hammer out. And then when my energy got low, swapped to Shiro and used some of those skills. Like a big thing with Revenant is definitely managing your energy and swapping when you get low in order to maximize how much you're getting back and the usage of your skills. And as I was saying, with Sword and Shiro, Glint provides like a good added burst of survivability as well when you're playing it. So it kind of like fills in a lot of the weaknesses that you normally have of being squishy, like playing Shiro, which you guys might have noticed playing over this last weekend. Revenant felt a little bit squishy. There's some bugs with some things that affected that a bit, but Glint will definitely play into that and help provide a lot of that utility that you're used to in other professions.
I thought it was maybe just that I was bad. And I think it's still that I'm just not a very good Revenant yet, but it's good to know that maybe that had a little something to do with it, because I got beat up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Revenant's supposed to be like a bit squishier of the heavy armor classes, but also it's also pretty high level in that energy, since it's on all of your skills. It's something you really have to manage, since you have all these ways of spending energy. If you don't watch out, basically you end up draining your bar and being left with not being able to do anything. So it's really about like pulling your energy, using skills that you want in a row, and using them at the right time.
Yeah, that's kind of a habit to build too. I feel like a lot of us are in the habit of just, like we talked about before, just hitting anything as soon as it's off of cooldown. When you get in those panic situations and you just start banging on everything, and it's just going to make it worse.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a forum post afterwards too. By the way, if you're wondering about all of the Revenant changes since the BWE, Roy mentioned at the beginning, if you came in afterwards, we are gonna have a forum post talking about that right after the show. Yeah,
I'll be posting it on the Revenant sub-forums, kind of like I did after the Revenant test weekend. It'll basically have some explanation about like reasons behind the changes and like what they are, so what you guys can expect going into the next beta weekend when we have it, along with the stuff we're showing off today, like Herald, Specialization, and Harpoon, and Malix and Shiro being available underwater as well.
Yeah, you guys will have plenty of time to jump in there and play with it and give Roy feedback to work with.
Yeah, it should be a lot of ad stuff, kind of like last time, where you get a lot more toys and tools to play with, along with the other changes that we made too.
Yeah, well, we've already got the underwater weapons, so that's going to be... I'm picturing every lake like full of revenants.
Maybe.
Everybody's like waiting for one fish to respawn.
It'll definitely be nice, like in World v World, I know some streamers roaming on Revenant and people just kiting them into the water because they knew they had no skills underwater.
Oh my gosh.
Like, ouch.
Oh man, that is not okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was probably really fun if you're on
it's a good tactic.
not on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just shove them in the pond and go, now what? All right, so that was your first look at the Revenant. I made you, I just kind of sat back and relaxed while you talked a lot. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, you can take a drink for a little while if you want. Yeah.
You got to enjoy it.
So I will give Roy a little break because I do want to mention one other thing. The official Guild Wars 2 wiki has a new feature that I wanted to talk about just a little bit. I know a lot of us, the wiki community has been working so hard on this, and the wiki editors have done a lot of work. I know a lot of people want to help and either haven't had the time to get in there and really get the knowledge on how to edit the back end, or they're just not interested in taking the time or interested in learning how.
Sure.
Totally okay. We still want you guys to contribute. So there is a little leave feedback button that the wiki community has created and put in all of our official wiki pages, where if you have screenshots or if you have new information, because stuff is changing so fast right now, not just your stuff.
Yeah, no, there's tons of stuff changing all over the place.
And there's new stuff coming out all the time with Heart of Thorns. So you can go to the leave feedback section on any page on the Guild Wars 2 wiki and just dump your information in that little text box down in there. Anything that you have, and the wiki editors will pick it up and take care of it for you and get it formatted and get it in there. Yeah. So
makes it real easy to help the site keep up with updated information and things like that without having to spend all that time learning how to update it yourself.
It's super easy to get to too. If you are in game and want to know something, just type /wiki in your chat box, and you can go straight to the wiki with that, or you can type /wiki glint, or whatever it is you want to know about, and it'll take you straight to the wiki page. So thank you to all of the official Guild Wars 2 wiki community for working on this, because I know you guys do a lot in the background. This is just the latest of many cool things.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks.
Yeah. So, all right, we are going to have Hugh on for PvP 101. He is back from Gamescom and back from the WTS finals. So we're going to take a look at a couple of short videos, and then we'll be back with you. Thank you so much for showing us Glint and all the Revenant changes, and we look forward to more.
Yeah, thanks.
My name is MMO Inks. You might know me as the guy who deletes all of his characters. Or maybe as a top PvP player. Seriously though, I am host and co-host to a number of Guild Wars 2 podcasts. I like to break down, analyze, and speculate on MMOs. But most importantly, I've fostered a friendly, helpful, and relaxed community here on Twitch. So stop by, check it out, and say hello.
The decap, we've seen a boss kill. We are less than 100 points behind.
No.
This is going to be another epic.
Welcome back. Thank you, Hugh. How's that jet lag working out for you?
Oh, it's awful, awful. But we're back. We're back.
Everybody back from Gamescom looked so tired when they were like staggering around the office, and there's a few people taking a 3-day weekend. Well deserved.
Yeah,
you guys
definitely.
Worked so hard. So how was it?
Oh my God, it was a lot of fun. Everybody keeps asking me how was Germany. I have no idea.
How was Gamescom?
Yeah, I was at Gamescom.
Did you
7
leave the
days.
building, or did you just like sleep under one of the testing
I
desks?
felt like that's what it was. Like I was pretty much there on the floor most of the day, and then hanging out, and then pretty much going with the team to go get dinner, and then hanging out with them, talking with them, and then going to bed, waking up and doing it all over again. I didn't get to see much of Germany at all. It was like walk to the train station, immediately go to Gamescom, stay there, and then survive the rest of the day.
I heard the air conditioning wasn't the greatest. That was like one of my big takeaways.
I mean, I've gone to many a fighting game tournament and have smelled the mean streets of fighting games, and it was very similar. Let me tell you, you'd walk in there, you're like, my people. My people, I have arrived.
No.
No,
So-
it wasn't that bad actually. It wasn't. Some people were commenting about it. I'm like, you guys have
no
you have
idea.
no idea what I've lived through, what I have smelled. You
You
have
don't know
no
where
idea.
I've been, man. You don't know my life.
So, but no, yeah, it wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah. So you were on the main Twitch stage with Jebro.
I
How was
was.
that? I mean, I know you're not used to being on camera. I know.
Oh, I
you
know.
it's
I'm
kind of
very-
new. You were probably really nervous.
Yes, very nervous. So I was kind of like the man running between everybody, kind of getting everybody set up, talking to the teams, making sure they were ready, getting ready to play, what their order was going to be, stuff like that. I was in charge of Orange Logo. It was one of the main teams, one of the EU teams with Rom. Everybody knows who
Ron right
Rom
now is like, when did you become team captain?
I know. No, I was kind of helping those
I know
guys
what
out.
you mean.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun being back there. I mean, it's amazing seeing how hard, how much hard work goes into like the ESL booth and what they have to do and the things they were doing just to keep everything running, and then having, Josh was in the back doing all like the production style stuff, so he was giving us cues, letting us know when to do stuff. Also, herding PvP players is like herding a bunch of cats, so that was always fun.
I feel like the cats might be slightly.
Oh yeah,
easier
that was
to
actually more of a knock
herd.
to the cats, not the
Yeah.
players. No, I love those guys. They're a lot of fun, but it is a lot of fun. I know on their end they're super focused. They're super nervous. They're trying to play, and so like.
Well, this was the WTS finals. I mean,
Yeah,
this was for the really big check.
Yeah, and it was funny because it'd be like, all right, hey, you're gonna go on, you gotta get your team ready. You're gonna go on in like 2 minutes. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get a smoke. Okay, no, let's come back. Let's come back. You're on in 2 minutes, which means you need to be ready in 2 minutes. All right, cool. I'm gonna use the restroom. I get something to eat real quick. I gotta go phone my mom.
Road trip.
Whoa! You had like 20 minutes before this to do that. Like, come on, guys. But yeah,
I can
no.
only imagine how high your nerves are ratcheted up at that point. You're just like,
It was great because you're like, all right, okay, let's go. 5 guys, let's go. 1, 2.
two.
Guys? And like, dude comes out with like a Coke. He's like, oh, we on? Yes, get on. You gotta get on the stage right now. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. I mean, honestly, I can't tell you what it's like being in the backstage, being in the audience. Some of the people that were there, that were at the booth watching it, didn't leave. They were there for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Literally came in the beginning of Gamescom on that Saturday and did not leave until Gamescom closed, which is when we ended.
Oh man.
I mean, and then they wanted to talk to the players, and the players, super mentally drained, physically drained, came down and talked to these guys. I mean, those guys are class acts. Every one of them was great. So big shout outs to you guys, both the community and the PvP players.
Yeah, it seems like everybody did really, really well. And I can imagine, I mean, we laugh at that last 2 minutes. Like you're on it.
Oh, I know.
And I imagine at that point, anything to keep you from completely freaking out and not thinking too hard about what's at stake right now is probably really, really welcome. I will smoke, I will go get a Coke, I will go eat a meal, anything just to get me through the next 2 minutes without completely losing my mind.
No, yeah, and one of the big things, because I won't say that I've been in these kinds of high-stakes situations, but I've played competitive games. I've played these things
You've
before.
been in some pretty
I have
high-stress
been,
situations.
I have been. So what I like to do with the guys, especially for some of the guys that this is the first time on stage, this is the first time playing in a big event like this, was just go to them and just be like, what do you need right now? What can we do right now to kind of help you? And then kind of making sure you keep the team together, because one thing you don't want is wandering eyes, wandering minds. Keep everybody focused. So one of the things I told like the guys who were in the back, I had Carl with me, I had Zach was one of our programmers in competitive. I was like, just make sure you guys stay with your team. Just stay with your team. Just keep them together. Keep them focused. If they start thinking and wandering and stuff like that, just, hey guys, what do you need? What can I do for you?
If you need a thing, let me know. I will bring you whatever soda or whatever snack.
Exactly. Because one of the things I noticed, especially for some of the newer guys, is they would wander a little bit. They would kind of like stick away from their team. They would think about, hey, go sit with your team. Think about what you guys are gonna do. Talk about some stuff, or keep your mind off. Whatever you can do. But I think that was one of the biggest things, was just like watching all of their personalities come through, watching them stick together as a team, talk to each other. They'd be in losers bracket, and they'd be talking about, what can I do? Like watching the Absurd. That was, if you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch the match between Orange Logo and Absurd. The first match they came up in winners, there was the second match of the day. That was some of the best matches I'd seen in competitive PvP in Guild Wars 2 ever. Like everything was back and forth. Everything came down to the last minute. And then Absurd went to losers. Spoilers, but Absurd went to losers.
Oh yeah, surprise.
But then,
the statute of limitations and spoilers on this tournament way over.
Yeah. I mean, but then they came back to win the whole thing. But you should have saw them when they came back. They were not defeated. They were like, all right, what can we do better? They were immediately talking about it, immediately getting engaged. Backstage, thinking they had some computers back there. They were immediately going in, what can we do better? They kind of thought about it. They watched the matches of the people going. But it was awesome to see all the sides do that. When they'd win, when people would win, they weren't satisfied. They came back. They started talking about the next matchup. What are we going to look for? What are we going to do? And it was great. All those guys, like I said, I've been around a lot of competitive players in my day, but those guys did really class acts. Really, really class acts.
They really did. And I was watching, I overslept. I didn't get to see as much
Yeah, it was very early.
It was like 1 in the morning, I think.
Yeah.
And I woke up at 5 and went, oh no. And I'm like down there with headphones so I don't wake up anybody else in the family.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all look just super focused.
Yes.
I mean, really, okay, what do we need to do to walk away with this?
Yep.
Yeah. So what was your best Gamescom story?
Okay.
You told me you had some, right?
I got a couple. I got
Okay,
a
give
couple.
me your best
I'll give it-
Gamescom stories, plural.
Okay. So one was we were having some problems with the ESL booth.
I heard about this.
We didn't even get the game technically functional until 20 minutes after we were supposed to start. So we're supposed to start at 10 a.m. our time. It was like 10 o'clock, and we couldn't even get people into matches. Josh is being a boss. He's like rolling through. He's like, guys, we got to get this. Give us 15 minutes. I'm sitting there with like Susan.
He's like so focused.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just, he's cool as.
But there was a moment there where we're like, all of us kind of had that face. We're like,
what are we gonna do?
We may have to cancel WTS. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. There was that moment where we were like, I don't know what we're gonna do. But then Josh was like ready. He was like, guys, don't worry, we're gonna get this done, do this and that, and everything worked. And we were like, we're on, boys. Let's do this. Let's get this going.
1,000-foot Ethernet cable. I'm going next door. I'll be right back.
we were so in, and then all of a sudden, like, we switched to the next game, and everything broke again. And we were like, don't worry, just keep it rolling. No, and if you go back and watch, and you really think about it, you really won't notice that all these things were happening. But luckily, you probably didn't see me. I was like a chicken with my head cut off, running through, like talking to people, making sure everything's going. What do we do? Let's get the IT guy out here. Let's talk to this. Susan's calling people back at home, talking to all these things, doing everything in the world. A boss.
Susan is amazing. Susan is one of our IT techs who went over to Gamescom with us, and I was at PAX East with her, and we had some. It seems like there's always some sort of technical difficulty. I don't know if it's like in the contract when you go to a convention.
It is.
Some sort of hardware, something in the background has to break.
Yes.
And Susan was just unbelievable
Yeah,
while she was there.
Susan was amazing.
She's just like, I am here, everything is fixed now.
Yeah. Josh, again, did a really good job. I want to take a big shout out to Katie as well. She organized everything for us.
Our events manager.
Yes, she organized. She got everybody there. She got us all safely. She had us all booked for foods, rooms, everything. She is amazing. So a big shout out to Katie as well. I want to make sure I say that because she did such an amazing job.
Yeah, I'll
It's
tell
like
you what.
lifeblood.
If you ever are at one of the conventions where we are there, Katie will be there. She will be the one holding us all together.
Yes.
She gets us there. She gets us home.
Yes.
Stop and tell her thank you because I cannot believe how hard Katie works.
So again, big thing out to you, Susan, Katie, Josh, everybody in the ESL booth, everybody players. But thank you specifically to those players or those people because they really, really brought it all together.
Yeah, they pull off miracles. And
they
have
do.
No idea how.
Oh yeah, I don't even know how they do it.
We don't congratulate them enough. So
yes.
Yeah.
So another funny
that was
story.
that
was the day of.
And it's okay because now it's over.
It's
and
over.
We know it's fine.
It's funny now, but boy, let me tell you, I
you
was
laughing?
like, at the end of the day, I was. Beginning of the day, I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. This is where I die right here on the stage.
This is it.
They're gonna cut back. I'm
how
just
I
be
go
laying
out.
on the computer. It's just done. I think the other one that was really funny was like the day that the players got in. I love my boys, Orange Level. I love those guys. But they are
great guys.
notorious for being, party guys. They like to go out to the drinks. They like to have fun.
heard this.
Yes, they're big guys on that. So the next day, we come in and they're like, Hugh, you know what? We got to get your teams up. We're going to be going to the ESL booth to take some photos.
Oh, no.
Don't worry. It's at 10 o'clock, so they have plenty of time to rest. Psh, I know my boys. I
you like,
know
no,
that.
no, no,
I was
no,
like,
no.
I woke up early and I'm like, I'm gonna start calling rooms. I'm gonna start calling rooms
Did you
early.
really?
Oh yeah. Oh, I was
fantastic.
that guy. As I knew.
Why weren't you banging on the doors?
Oh, no. I was.
Okay.
So it starts off, and I'm like, let me call everybody rooms. I had the rooms written down ahead of time because I knew. Call a room. Nobody. Let me call another room. Nobody. Let me call the last room. Nobody. All right. I'm going to call it 7 more times. So I called each room 7 times.
Hugh.
I am that guy. I am that guy.
not screwing around.
No. So I was like, no one picked up. I was like, you know what? It's time to go be the police. Walk to the rooms.
Wait a minute.
I'm kicking doors.
Hold on. Were you at the same hotel? Or
Oh
were you in
yeah.
a different, okay.
I was in
okay.
the same hotel. I'm kicking doors. I beg nothing. I'm like, okay, you know what? Now I feel like maybe I wrote the names wrong doors down. I'm gonna go downstairs and then be like, oh yeah, no one's in those rooms. I was like, no. So I go downstairs. They're like, oh yeah, those are the rooms. I'm like, oh heck no, no, they did not just not answer the door on me. So I start calling people's rooms again. All of a sudden, one person finally picks up. I'm not gonna name the name, and then the person's like, oh, hey Hugh, who's this? Oh, they're like, I'm like, hey, you gotta get downstairs. You have 10 minutes to get downstairs. You're supposed to have a breakfast an hour ago. Who's this? Oh no, you gotta get downstairs right now. Hang up, they're good. All right.
Tell me afterwards who this was.
Oh, I will. So
Thank
then we go, and I go to the next room. I start banging on doors again, right? One of the guys opens the door. He's like, "Hey, Hugh, what's up?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? We gotta be downstairs 5 minutes. 5 minutes." And I'm like, "What about this person? This person's notorious." He's like, "Hugh, don't worry. I got his key card. We're gonna go to his room right now. Your boss, high fives were exchanged. We're ready to go." I walk in, we key card this guy's room, right? I knock on the door first, no one, of course. Key card, open the door. Again, I'm not gonna name any names. This person jumps out of their bed with very little clothes. I'm going to say almost none. Starts bum rushing the door, right? And we're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And he's like, "Whoa, what is going on?" I'm like, "You need to go downstairs. You have 1 minute. 1 minute. Get downstairs."
Why didn't you just stand aside and let them go out of the
I know.
hallway?
I should have.
Get out of the way.
And they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna take a shower." I'm like, "No, I think we had a miscommunication. I said 1 minute.
You're gonna have to smell like
yeah,
that."
you have to go downstairs right now." Okay,
Oh,
cool.
no.
Walks to the bathroom, starts to shower. Walks to the next person who's in that room, right? You gotta get up. Let's go. We gotta go. Okay, cool. Nope, nope, nope. Pick him up. Come on, get out of the bed. We gotta go downstairs. I get them all downstairs, right? Get them all downstairs. Ready to go. Everything's good, except I'm missing one. I'm like, what? What's going on with the one? Go upstairs.
This is the best story.
I go upstairs, and I'm like, now mind you, we're already 5 minutes late now, right? Josh is in the van with all the other teams. Everybody's there.
Laying on the horn.
Everybody's there, right? And they're like, "Hugh, where's your team?" I'm like, "You have no idea what I've done so far this morning. I've seen way more of one than I've ever wanted to see. I've called rooms. I've been to the police. I've knocked on doors." I'm like, "Don't worry. I got my last guy. I'll go get him." We go up there, and he's like, "Hey, man, I have an injury." And I'm like, "Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He hurt himself last night. Oh, my God. He probably hurt his foot or something, like his leg. I'm screwed." He's like, "I hurt my foot." I'm like, "Oh, no." I immediately called Josh. I'm like, "Josh, one of the guys is hurt. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to do something." He's like,
He hurt his foot. Put him in the elevator.
"Yeah." I was like, "Don't worry. We'll come upstairs." I take a look, and he's like, I got a blister. And I'm like,
And this is how Hugh murdered someone in Germany.
I was like, "I need you to go sit on a bus, take a picture, and then sit on a bus to come back. You can't come downstairs with a blister." I'm like, "All right, no, it's okay. You know what? Hey, don't worry about it. We'll go." His team flies upstairs, and they're like, one of the guys is about to carry him. He's about to wedding carry him out. He's like, "I'll get you. I'll carry you down the stairs." Like, and they're like, "No. I can't go. I gotta stay." And I'm like, "All right, leave him. We're just gonna
Please
leave."
tell me he was screwing with you.
No. So we left, and we're like, and Josh called him. He's like, "You better get here, because I just need you to get here to take a picture." He winds up coming 10 minutes later and takes a picture. Everything was good. Everything was good. That was my first morning with the players.
You did well. So
It was a lot of fun. I love those guys.
here's a story that might help you. When my
Okay.
kids were younger and they wouldn't get out of bed for school in the morning, I put a raw egg in bed with them and just left.
I probably
Because
could
if
have
they
done
roll
that.
over, because A, it's cold,
Sure.
and B, if they roll over and go back to sleep, it's going to be bad. So, just for next time.
But yeah, long story short, I had a lot of fun. Those guys were a lot of fun. It was definitely.
They're probably upstairs in the lobby waiting for
I
you
know,
right
yeah.
now.
I'm gonna go next time
Like
I see
orange
them.
logo's at the door.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be all messed up in the face. They're gonna beat me up. But no, honestly,
They're good guys.
those guys were a lot of fun. It was funny though, because they knew, because when they got in the bus, the first thing they told me was, "Hugh, I'm tired." And I'm like,
Were you like,
Really?
really?
I'm like, "What time did you get home?" "I don't know, like 5. I'm like, that sounds like fun.
All right. Your game's coming and have a little fun.
And then one of them was bad when they're like, I think I'm still drunk."
Oh,
Like,
okay.
guys, please, guys, please.
I thought you were about to tell me somebody threw up on the bus.
No,
and I was
please.
Gonna get so upset.
I'm very sympathetic throw-upper, so I would just walked over, threw up on him. Be like, "Now you deserve that. That was the breakfast you were supposed to have."
That's terrible.
Oh, here's something funny. I
what?
love, real quick, last one. I love the breakfast they served.
What was it?
So it was like very German breakfast. They had like bread and cheese.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay, this is very German. And then there was like, you stupid white person food. It was like eggs, bacon, and like chicken wings, chicken nuggets. Like, I was like, man, I am gonna eat this. I was like, if no one's gonna eat these chicken wings, then why would they put them out? I'm gonna eat every morning. I had some fried chicken wings, some chicken nuggets. I had ketchup.
I don't
eggs,
know what to do with
bacon.
this.
I was so happy. You had no idea. I was like, let me get some bread, no way, I'm gonna get some chicken nuggets. I'm gonna put some bread. I'm gonna make a chicken nugget sandwich. I had some cheese on that mug. I had chicken nugget hamburgers every day.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
I am
if they're gonna put it, I'm gonna eat it.
And see,
I'm gonna show them.
I'm that person that like eats some of like last night's leftover dinner.
Oh.
I'll just like reheat that for breakfast, and I
Sure.
don't mind that. So I'm okay with chicken wings. I'm just a little weirded out.
It was just probably the funniest thing when the first time. I was like super tired and like all tired and messed up because it's the first day. And like I walk over and I'm like, oh, eggs, oh, cool, yeah. And I pull the next one. Oh, bacon, oh yeah, all right, cool. Chicken nuggets. I was like, yeah, all right, chicken nuggets. I might as well get some chicken wings, buffalo chicken wings. Yeah, all right, I'll get some buffalo chicken wings. Well, what else we got in these, man? It was just great because I was like, man, they just know me so well. I was like, oh, breakfast items, obviously
Yes, the
chicken
hotel
wings.
was totally like, oh, Hugh is coming.
Yeah, Hugh's coming. Better get some chicken wings and some buffalo chicken wings and some chicken nuggets for me.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right, so you made it.
I made it. It was
Everybody
so much
made
fun.
it, even whoever had the blister. I also
Yeah,
know who that is
that-
afterwards too.
I love that, man.
You need to. You're going to need to start naming names as soon as we're off the air. All right, so WTS is over. I mean, we've been ramping up. These are like the best of the best.
Yeah.
But this is PvP 101. So now that we've done this WTS tournament, the guys have got the big check.
Yep.
That was like the best part for me, watching John come out with the check, like the
Ye-
size of Rhode Island.
Yeah. And it was great because you're always afraid when you give it to them, they're going to be like, yeah.
Where'd it
Oh.
go? Where'd it go? I was just impressed when they like effortlessly lifted up the gigantic lion statue.
Oh, well, thank goodness
Like,
we reduced
one
its
dude-
weight.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, it used to
I
be
thought
like-
it was still as heavy.
It did used to be like that moment where like we would like start biting our nails because that thing used to be like 50 pounds. So you'd be
Yeah,
like,
it was.
"Ah,
Yeah, and
we're
then-
the winners. And then, like they fall down. We're like, no. But luckily it was only like
Give
10
it to Toker. He'll
Yeah,
just, you
Toker
know.
would be like spitting on his finger, doing tricks behind his back, and then you
Right.
hand it to like somebody
I
else. They'd be
thought
like,
I didn't know we reduced the weight. I thought it was still as heavy. So when they walked up and were just like,
yeah.
I was super impressed.
Yeah. Yep. No, it was. We reduced the weight and made it much higher quality.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it
was
looks
very,
great.
very beautiful.
All right, so we are the rest of us who are not on the WTS teams and not quite there yet. I'm close.
Getting there. Almost there, Ruby.
I'm not.
We also announced the leagues and ladder. That was pretty cool.
That's right.
So-
So what about those of us who want to get into that? And I mean, I know I'm not the only player who's going, PvP's maybe not my thing. That was me a year ago. That is not me now.
Yeah.
Can the new players who aren't that great get into?
Oh, definitely.
leagues and
So,
ladders?
so I'll give you a little extra information. So one thing
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you guys there's a blog we released on Curse. Check that out, guys. It's on curse.com. And then also we have the one that we released this Monday. It was on ours. Also going over a lot of detail on that stuff. But one of the things I want to say specifically on PvP 101 would be like their divisions in this thing. So we have like the Amber and the Ruby and all these divisions, right? Each of them have different
Best
rules.
division.
Yes. So the first division, there's no backwards progression. So if you play, essentially we have the pip system. So I'll kind of give a quick overview. So you have pips, tiers, and then divisions. So you go through pips. Every time you win or lose, you either gain pips or lose pips. Each tier has 5 pips. So you get 5 pips, you go up a tier. And then each division has a certain number of tiers. So the first one has like 3 tiers. So after you go up 3 tiers, boom, you're out of that division. You're in the next division. You cannot progress back down a division. So you don't need to have that fear of I crossed over division and then I lost it when I lost the next match.
Right. It always gets better for you.
Yep. And so then once you cross the division, there's some new rules. But for the first division, for all the guys in PvP 101, if you play, you don't go back at all. You don't lose pips, you don't lose tiers, you don't lose divisions. So all you gotta do is win 15 games, you go over to the next division, and then you can lose pips, you can't lose tiers, and you can't lose divisions. Which means if you have a good win streak, couple wins, and you get over to a tier, you don't have to worry about losing and going back down a tier. So there's a little stopgate for you as a new player. As you go up, there's always these little stop gates, and then as you go further and further on, as you get to the higher divisions, that's when we start being like, okay, you can lose pips and tiers, but you can never lose divisions. So one of the things is you always have those small goals you can set for yourself, right? If I'm in the first division, hey, I just want to win a couple games.
Right.
Just want to go up, want to go up. Go across that division. Next one, all right, I want to get to my next tier. So I know I got to win at least 5 games in a row or something of that nature. Win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1, win 2. And just as long as I'm going up. Set your goals. I want to go up 2 pips today. I want to go up this. I want to get to this next tier. And as you go up further, it's okay, I want to do it again. I want to win a couple. I want to win a couple. So it always kind of gives you that easy to understand, easy goal to set as a new player, as a coming in player, especially maybe not the best player in the world. You always have a goal to set, right? I can win for, like I said, first division, just win a couple, and then as you go forward, you have more newer goals as you go forward.
Right.
And then, of course, you get the division badge, which we talked about in the blog and stuff like that. You'll get your rewards, you'll get all this stuff, the back items, everything like that comes along with all these things. And that's the way it is, guys. And, you know, as you get better, as you continue to play in the leagues or just play PvP in general, you'll get better and you'll be able to set bigger and better goals for yourself as you go forward.
Yeah, so the takeaway there is that this system this is going to be for everybody. The system, there are rewards for, it's going to be worth your while no matter how new you are, even if you're just dipping the toes in the water like we were months ago.
Exactly.
This is still for you. So don't look at it and think, nope, leagues sounds intimidating, like a not good thing. I'm out. I don't want any part of it because it's for you.
And the worst thing the worst case is you try and you progress up to that first division, right? After you get to the first division, see how you feel, right? Play a couple more games, feel, because you can't go back anywhere, so you might as well at least try.
You're not going
and
to
keep
lose progress.
Yeah, you cannot lose progress. So I highly recommend, guys, just like Ruby said, give it a try. You'll be surprised. You'll cross over a couple tiers. You'll get that badge next to your name, and you'll be like, hey, you know what? I think I can do this.
I actually had fun.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think I can do this. So, and then we try to match you based on your division, so you won't be fighting against legendary guys when you're in Amber, right? You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. We'll do our best to match. Now, obviously, if you're in queue for like an hour, we may have to pull some people that may be in a higher division for you like that. But I really don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be pretty. Yeah, but you get to play. I really think that people are going to be really excited about this, and I think people are going to really, really want to play and climb up. So I really don't think we need to worry about that.
You can only gain.
Yep. Yeah. So read the blogs, guys. Again, Curse has a really good one. We have one on our website.
Guildwars2.com.
Yep. So take a look, guys. Read it. See what you guys think.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll be mulling around on the forums and Reddit and all those things, listening to your guys' feedback and stuff like that. And as we go further on, I can reveal a lot more information about this thing. We'll keep all that feedback in mind.
Yeah, there's a lot more cool details coming.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are coming, we are going to be at PAX in just 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
PAX Prime here in our backyard is in 2 weeks. We're going to outline the future of Guild Wars 2, and we're going to reveal. Do you want to be the one to say it?
No, I don't want to say anything.
Challenging group content.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I know people are really asking about it. A lot of
Right?
speculations, a lot of little things people keep thinking, but we'll finally be able to talk about it and reveal it there.
Yeah, so those of you who have been spending so much time wondering, when do we get to hear about this challenging group content? Your answer is at PAX in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Man, that's crazy.
I know.
2
We're gonna
weeks.
have more details on when and where and all that good stuff starting next week. So keep an eye on guildwars2.com, like we said.
Yep.
The game launcher, the news will be in the game launcher once we release it. The Guild Wars 2 Twitter and Facebook pages, all of that is going to be revealed next week.
Man,
So,
lot
and
of
then
stuff.
PAX is in 2 weeks. I keep saying that, and
know.
it keeps not hitting home.
I keep thinking like, man, I was just in Cologne. Now 2 weeks and we're already
You
in.
were just in Cologne, and now it's PAX time.
Man.
So until then, follow our channel here on the little purple button down there. If you are watching this on YouTube later on because you couldn't be here on Friday afternoon, then hit the subscribe button. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere down here. Until then, keep an eye on those, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching Points of Interest. Kabam!